Here's me with Mikael Colville Andersen. Really happy to have him here in Upplands, Väsby. Just made a performance about bikes and the role of bikes in cities. And a question, are you optimistic about the way bikes are being used or will be used?
I think I am very optimistic. Like I said, it really is bicycle culture 2.0. The bicycle is back, and I don't really think it's going to go anywhere now, because the poetic justice of a 19th century invention solving 21st century traffic problems in our cities with urbanization on the rise, it's great. It's poetic justice for the bicycle, but it really just makes sense. You know, it's cost efficient, the health benefits for society. I mean, it's all documented throughout decades and decades. So I see this all around the world. Cities are moving fast, some much faster than others, but it is being taken seriously once again as transport. There's people who do it for recreation and sport, fine, you know, everybody needs a hobby, but it actually has a very an important role in our cities, and it is a symbol for everything we want to do in cities. You know, it's not just about the bike, it's about creating livable cities, and the bicycle is just the chariot that is carrying us towards this future.
Thank you. Another question? Yes. What would you say is the biggest obstacle when you meet politicians, you meet communities all over the world for making this happen?
I meet politicians everywhere. Like I have that privilege where I get to meet the mayors in different cities and city officials, and a lot of them understand, you know, that this is a thing now. We have to start considering bikes. But I find that the biggest problem is traffic engineering. And not the individual traffic engineers, because all they did was take that education, but their education is the problem. For 60 years, they've only learned the same kind of thing. There's nothing new. They're almost, like in a lot of academia, you know, don't think differently, just learn what we already know. And it's more than any other industry, I think, in traffic engineering. And that is the biggest hurdle. You can have a politician come top down and say, we're going to make it different. Education, we're going to have an educational reform. And in education, they'll go, oh, wow, okay, let's do that. Medical reform, yeah, we'll do that. Engineering, the door slams. Say we don't have a computer model for that. You can Google traffic engineer jokes, and you can find there's websites for that, because it's just they're not the kind of people who think visionary. They're the problem solvers, and we just haven't been asking them to solve different problems. And I meet them all over the world after I do my talk, where I kind of go after them, and many of them say, "Listen, man, I just want new problems to solve. So give them to me and we will rock it together," right? And some of them are very old school, the older ones, and they're saying, "No, but there's nothing wrong. It works." But it doesn't, you know. It's time. If our education system was the same as it was in the 1950s, or parenting in the 50s, or you know, gender equality, or you know, or inequality in the 50s, you know, there'd be an uproar. But we still just accept traffic engineering, and the computer models used to run traffic in this city and in Stockholm, we've looked it up. They're from the 1950s, 1960s. They're unchanged. Nobody has thought differently about it, which is what I like to try and do. You know, we can do so much more, much quicker, much more efficiently, safer, everything. We know so that's really the hurdle is this altar that we worship at of traffic engineering without understanding the god or the demigod. You know what I mean? We just accept it without questioning it. That is the major hurdle. So I want politicians to walk into the engineering departments and say, we're going to do this. And they are doing it in some cities, you know. It works. It takes the right politician. But generally, that is the hurdle.
Okay. What about architects and planners? Are they there? Are they aware? Do they know this?
Architects, planners generally, I think, are more in the loop in this little group of industries. They kind of get it. Like urbanism is on the rise, so they're kind of, you know, getting that softer touch and whatnot. But architects still, yeah, they're, you know, even Danish architects. Like seriously, a big shiny building, you know, and then there's no bicycle parking. You know, you think, why didn't you just build that into your design instead of having somebody walk up and place a really ugly bike rack outside the quite nice building, right? So a few of them get it, but they still are only focused on their monuments that they're building in steel and glass, where they could actually do much more for creating life on the street around their big fancy monument, right? So they need a little, you know, we got to twist their nipples a little bit more as well, right? And because they have. Architecture is a massive industry, and it's, you know, an important industry. Cities are really defining themselves by the buildings they're putting up. There's a lot of work that can be done on the ground around the buildings. So yeah, they need a kick in the ass. Okay. Mm-hmm.
You've had the opportunity to inspire a lot of architects today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.